All right, so Dolphins double-digit wins. We're up to 10-3 right now, going to a Week 15 matchup against the Texans. Now, I've been very, very open about this when it comes to the Texans. I think they are a team that's due for some regression here. I think they're a team that's they flew a little too close to the sun last year, and I think it was it was it was just a blessed season for them. They everything just kind of fell into place for them. I don't see it going that neatly for them this year. Anthony, I'm going to start with you on this one. At the Texans Week 15, what do you think?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have us losing this game, and while I do agree with you, I think they're in for some regression. And even looking at their schedule last year and like looking at their wins, who their wins were against, not a lot of high-profile wins. But if you looked at Miami's schedule, you could say the same thing about us, right? We've struggled to defeat winning teams. This one to me is exactly what that Arizona game was a couple years ago. This is Tua versus Stroud, point for point, yard for yard. Who is going to throw that last touchdown? I think that their offense is as wicked as ours. And the defenses, I feel bad for the defensive players for this week. Maybe they should get some extra massages or something because they're going to absolutely be getting run all over the place. A high flying affair that we just lose. I think Stroud gets it done in the closing seconds.
All right, Josh,
Yeah.
WRL.
Yeah, honestly, I think very much to what Anthony said. It's a very close game, but I have us winning this one. I think that this is very reminiscent of Ohio State, Alabama type. It's that kind of game, right? Yeah. I think, 38-20, 30 or 31-28, kind of 38-31, like that kind of score. I think, Houston fields a really, really good offense, right? I mean, Diggs has our number. He always has in Buffalo. I think that continues with CJ. I think CJ continues to grow. I think where he does have a down year in comparison to his rookie season, I think that he's still a very good quarterback. But to Anthony's point, I just see like Hill having like 230 yards, like an outstanding game from Hill into in the run game. And I think that we eke this one out in kind of the mid to late fourth quarter.
Okay.
This could be the game where one of.
Sorry about that, guys. It's raining here, and long story. I have to move to this part of the room. Don't mind the boxes. My wife is pregnant, and we have all kinds of baby stuff.
Congrats, bro.
Hey, congrats.
All right, well, Steve, you're going to be the tie-breaking vote on this one because Josh gave them a win, Anthony gave them a loss.
Okay, all right. And we're on the Texans. This is a fun game. It's indoors in December, an away game that we're not going to freeze in. I kind of think we catch a break here a little bit, but does Stephon Diggs make it happen against the Dolphins as he's done before? And my simple answer to that question is probably. The dude is just that good. I mean, and if he doesn't, Nico Collins or Tank Dell most certainly can. It's a scary team with a widely good and young offense. And I think Tua has a good December showing in him. He's been a clutch player before. He is a winner. You can ask Jalen Hurts about that in Alabama. He'll tell you. Seriously, Tua's going to have the game of his life against Houston. At best, that defense is suspect, but the offense is I think, high caliber. It should be against the law to have a defense that deficient, I think, if you're going to have an offense that good. But, yeah, I see Miami coming off of a win with another win. And I think this win isn't going to be as easy as maybe I'm making it sound, but I do think that we handle the Texans by double digits.
I love it, Steve. I think that's I think you're probably right about that. I can understand where Anthony's coming from, where he's penciling them in for a loss, but again, I just don't think the Texans are as good as people seem to think they are. And I think the Dolphins are going to exploit that a little bit.
I think I think this is the year that Tua progressively gets better as the season does go.
This is Steve's wife chiming in on the chat right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thank you, Michaela.
I will say one more thing, Keith. I think this is the game where it's to break the narrative of they can't beat anybody, right?
Yeah.
Neither of them has beaten a winning team, so this is your chance because we don't have them beating a winning team before now. So this is your chance to go out there and get that win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So 11-3 going into the 49ers game. 49ers obviously represented the NFC at the Super Bowl last year.
Yep.
They still have Kyle Shanahan. They still have Brock Purdy. And for the time being, they have Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey. This is a tough game, guys. It is a home game. This is a rough game. Steve, I'm going to start with you on this one. What do you think, man?
I would love to think that the Heat would be able to work in our advantage here, but the Niners, there's no temperature differential here. And for the first time, I had us winning this game that I did this. Just kind of wanted to, give myself hope. But ultimately, I don't think we're going to win this game. I don't think Brock Purdy's better than Tua, and I don't think any of our running backs are better than Christian McCaffrey, but by committee, I think we do have the better running back room. The toss-up with the receiver core, with Ayuk, obviously they're much better than when they don't have him. But I think that San Francisco's defense is going to be a little unforgiving to our offense. I think Nick Bosa finds his way to Tua probably at least 2 times. I would say 1 each half, maybe a third, somewhere along the lines. And I think it's a game that we kind of close our eyes every time we see Tua fall, because I think he's going to take a beating this game. And it's going to hurt because it's week 16, man. This isn't the time to play the Niners.
Yeah. I knew the Niners were going to be the schedule this year. I was hoping it was going to be like
week 3.
5. Yeah, week 3, week 5.
Yeah.
Why did it have to be week 16? We played them late in the season last time we played them, and that game it felt like the start of the collapse for the Dolphins that season. And I just don't. Josh, talk me off the ledge here, man. Help me out here.
Yeah, I actually love that we're playing these 6 games when we're playing them, right? Don't get me wrong. For ease of getting into the playoffs and actually getting our first playoff win, I would have loved to see the 49ers in week 3 and week 4 and week 5. But I have this down as a W. I think it is. I think this game and the Browns game next is a coin flip. They're both going to be very competitive games, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I think it comes down to home field advantage, right? So, spoiler alert for my next pick. I think that Purdy, this is going to sound so stupid, but I'm not really high on Purdy. I know he's been in the Super Bowl. I get it. He's fine. I think he's a very, 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 very good game manager, which is not an insult, at least not coming from me. I think if you have the skills players around you and you are a game manager, that's outstanding. Right. And if you can do it well, which he does, that's great. I think he comes down to earth a little bit this season as a whole. And I think it comes down to home field advantage, like I said earlier. So I see us winning something like 21-20. I mean, super, super close, very competitive. But I got us winning this one.
All right, Anthony, you are the tiebreaker on this one, man. W or L?
I'm so excited for this game, dude. I'm so excited for this game because I have us getting over the hump and getting a win against a winning team against the San Francisco 40. Can you imagine if we beat the San Francisco 49ers?
The narrative. Oh, God.
I just this is last year's Baltimore game, except we actually win and don't get destroyed. I think this is the student beating the teacher. We need Mike McDaniel to outmaneuver Kyle Shanahan, right? It boils down to the game before the game. It's not even the guys on the field for this one. What are you going to do to attack San Francisco? What are they going to do to attack you? You run the same offense. So you know what you're looking at. And I think that in order to take down a behemoth, you got to hit him where in their weak spot. Their weak spot, as Josh alluded to, is Brock Purdy. Don't game plan for McCaffrey or Debo or Ayuk. That's stupid, right? It's going to do nothing for you. Game plan for stopping Brock Purdy. Get in his face, put him under pressure, do like what we do on offense, where we have guys running motions all over the place, confusing the defense. Let's do the same thing on our defense. Get Purdy confused, make him have to make multiple reads per drop back, and let's get the W. Let's prove to people that we deserve to be in the playoffs and not just sneak in again and then get destroyed. Let's actually be a good team for once. And it starts here against San Francisco. After a brutal loss to the Texans, I got them coming in and beating San Francisco at home.
Yeah, and don't forget, last year when teams shrunk the field on Purdy, he struggled.
Yeah,
I think with our cornerbacks the way they are, our linebackers, and I don't mean to keep beating the dead horse with the stick here, but I am high on our linebackers from a speed and recognition standpoint. And I think if we can press more than we do most of the season in this game, I think if we can shrink the field, make him have to pause and get to his second, his third, even his fourth read, I think we have a very good chance of beating them.
And that's where I think that 3-4 comes in handy. I know, Steve, you expressed concern about the 3-4, but like now we have 4 guys from 4 different positions who could all blitz, and they have no idea where that's coming from. And these are all guys with speed, right? Not defensive ends, nothing like that. Like we got linebackers with speed who could come from any position. I think that's what's going to ultimately cause the confusion there.
And Kohu gets a sack in this game.
Kohu gets a sack.
I'll take
all right. So we have 12 wins, 12-3 right now, going into the Browns. Strong defensive team. Deshaun Watson, he's not a great quarterback anymore.
Hide your masseuse.
Yeah. So, but they are traveling to Cleveland on Sunday Night Football in, late in the season. It's going to be cold. It's going to be a cold game. Anthony, what do you think?
I think we have too many traveling night games, and like, what is happening? Why are we on primetime at night at somebody else's stadium all season? But honestly, I'm not a believer in the Browns. I don't know how their coach, I think Kevin Stefanski, gets this team to so many wins every year, but I just don't see the talent. No Nick Chubb this year. Deshaun Watson is crap. And, their one big key on offense is Amari Cooper. I think he's still very good. But ultimately, I think there's a 0% chance the Browns offense can keep up with our offense. Like, not even close. I feel super strongly about this game that despite the cold, despite the travel, despite it being in prime time, which are all things we've struggled with, as Steve alluded to, I don't think it's close. I think we embarrass the Browns in their house on prime time.
Man, that would make me so happy.
Yeah, that would be great. Josh, what do you think, man?
Well, as I alluded to with the 49ers win, I think this is a loss. I think it comes down to home field advantage. 2 good teams going against each other. You're not going to win them all. I think cold night I think we put forth a good effort. But I just think that the Browns defense steps up, being at home, being end of the season. They're fighting for, in my guesstimation, the playoffs. And I will say this, I think that even though we lose this game, per my predictions for both the Dolphins and the AFC East, I think that due to a loss from another team, which I will not mention, I think we will lock up the AFC East even though we lose this game. But I do have us down for an L.
Well, that leaves you, Steve, as the tie-breaking vote on this one. Cleveland Browns.
So I do agree with Josh that this game will have some sort of playoff implications. There's nothing attractive about having to go to Cleveland in December in the cold. There's nothing attractive about having to play Cleveland. They play tough. They're full of grit. It's going to be a hard game, but in my eyes, we just lost to the 49ers, and we realize that potentially could be our last loss. Now I know on here we got the win. So maybe that would skew a little differently here, but I think Miami plays this game angry because this game's going to have a little bit of that KC feel to it last year, where it was cold, it was wet. It was kind of a game that we needed to win, and I think winning this game clinches an AFC East for us.
All right, so we have
I'm giving us a win.
Steve has us getting the win here. That puts 13-3 going to Week 17 in a matchup against the New York Jets. We don't have a time or even a date for this game. It's just
which is weird. Is that normal? Because I don't remember that ever being a thing.
That's how it worked against the Bills last year.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically, if you're playing for the division, if you're playing for a playoff spot, if this game is meaningful to both teams, then they're going to flex this into a Sunday Night Football matchup or potentially Monday Night Football, something like that. So at the Jets, I will start with you here, Steve. What do you think?
First, I'm going to start off by saying, boy, do I hope we're already in the playoffs, because if so, this game is meaningless. But if by any chance this is a playoff contention style game, like this is a lose and you're done, this might be a heartbreaker for Miami fans, because I don't see us winning this game. I don't see us winning this game for a few reasons. One, it's at New York, could be Aaron Rodgers' last game. And honestly, I don't want to sound like a crybaby, but I don't think the refs are going to let Aaron lose that game on their watch. Obviously we can beat them fair and square with some plays that, breakout runs where there's nothing to call. But I think Miami's going to get hit with some dumb penalties. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to walk to the center of that field and extend his hand to Tua because he has the W. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Hopefully we have our playoff already clinched, but if this is a clinching game, I think we're going to be watching the rest of the playoffs upset.
All right. So we have an L here. We have an L here from Steve. Josh, thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Jets are the Jets at this point in the season. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is healthy. If he is, great. If he's, I think that I have us down as an L as well. But here's why. Because we've already locked up the AFC East and we're resting all of our starters. So we're playing our third stringers and our practice squad players, and it doesn't really matter because we're going to the damn playoffs.
Well, in that circumstance, I can stomach a loss. And I'm hoping that's how we lose this game. If we lose this game,
me too.
If the refs rob us, like Steve said, I'm gonna be.
I see it.
I'm gonna be pretty pissed off about that.
It still might happen. I'm just saying it's not going to matter.
Yeah. Anthony, what do you think, man?
Yeah, also had a loss actually on this one. I think we're all just being a little pessimistic about the Jets' final game, but we also live in the Northeast, so we get to feel that weather on January 5th, which is not fun. And Dolphins won't love that. I think either way, whether we sit our starters or we don't, we could see a loss here. If the Jets are healthy, right? That's a huge if there. But if we have 13 wins like we do in this scenario, why would you start anybody, right? Let's not do that.
Yeah.
But we almost won a division last year with 11. 13 would certainly win it. So I would say even if we have 12 and we have it clinched, let's let bygones be bygones there. Put Tua on the bench. Don't get him hurt, please.
Put him in the locker room.
Yeah.
Just put him. Stay home.
Bring Tim Boyle out, right? Have a huge celebration for Tim Boyle.
Big old celebratory Boyle.
Yeah, it'll be Tim Boyle. It'll be what's his name? Wilson Jr. at running back.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've just come full circle.
Easy E will finally play. It'll be a thing.
Tim Boyle, Jeff Wilson, Easy, all the backups, all the practice squad guys.
And our starting number one wide receiver, Easy E or Braxton Berrios. Yeah. It's gonna be a great game.
All right. So look, guys, just to review, we started off 7-0. You guys have started off 7-0, and then 2 straight losses to the Bills and Rams, 2 straight wins to the Raiders and Patriots, a loss to the Packers, 4 straight wins, which would be awesome. See that gauntlet that I was talking about, those last 6 games, you guys have us going 4-2.
That's what I said.
Wins against the Jets, Texans, 49ers, and Browns, and then finally a loss to the Jets, leaving us with a 13-4 record on the season. Look, I think all Dolphins fans, if you're out there listening, if you're out there watching, if you watch tomorrow or the day after, if the Dolphins get the 13 wins, I think we are all over the moon happy with how this season has gone for us. Mm-hmm. And we're going into the playoffs with a lot of hope in our eyes. Mm-hmm. So
anything less than 11 would be a disappointment.
Realistically, sure. I'm seeing 11.
Realistically, I'm seeing 12.
Yeah. So, full disclosure, Steve, you had them going 11-6. Josh and Anthony, you both had them going 12-5.
Yep.
Personally, I had them going 10-7.
Yikes!
Oh yeah, goodness, get out
of
here!
There.
We need a new host.
I was there. No, I was there. I see it too. I really, fought a few of these games.
That would mean that the wheels have fallen off. If we're at 9 or 10 wins, I think that means Tua, knock on wood, hold on. Tua got injured, or some travesty happened. I mean something, because this team is too good on paper and too good talent wise to go 10-7 to go.
I agree with you. Josh. On paper they are, but there are some tough games here. There are games that you guys, like the Seahawks game, like the Colts game, games that games. Like the 49ers game. You guys had them all penciled in for wins. Those are 3 games that could easily become losses. Mm-hmm. An NFL season is not linear. An NFL season is not played on paper. And I understand where you guys are coming from. 12 wins, 13 wins. That'd be great. And I could see it happening.
That's perfect football almost every week.
Yes.
I think if the division is much more competitive with the Jets actually performing, then 10 wins could win the division. Because
it's possible.
There's not that many games to go around between the Jets, Dolphins, and Bills at that point.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I had for the AFC East breakdown. I had the Dolphins at 12-5. I had the Bills at 10-7. Where'd everyone go? There they are. The Bills at 11-6. I had the Jets at 10-7, and I had the Pats at 4-13.
Okay. I had the full disclosure. I had the Jets winning division 11-6. Dolphins and Bills both at 10-7, and the Pats at 5-12.
So who made it to the playoffs between the Bills or the Dolphins in your scenario?
I have the Dolphins making over the Bills.
Yeah. Well, that would be a
Bills
huge
fans
failure. For
love
them.
You.
Yeah, jeez.
If the Bills miss the playoffs, don't go to Buffalo. I mean,
I think Miami wins with the Bills getting the
wild card
playoff berth. I honestly, it's not far fetched to think that it's a total AFC East wild card.
Has that ever been done before?
No, but
maybe the East.
They just expanded the playoffs to the 3 wild cards, so it couldn't have been done before.
No, I don't think the Patriots. I'm saying like Bills and Jets.
Oh, I was like, you think the Patriots are making the playoffs?
No. That's what I meant. Like I forgot that there was a 3rd wild card.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah.
I was saying the 2 wild card teams were going to get filled by
the AFC North has done it a couple times with the Ravens, Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And that AFC North division is looking rough. I mean, if we're talking about wild cards, every team in the AFC North has legitimate playoff aspirations. In the AFC East, we have the Dolphins, Bills, Jets. They all have legitimate playoff aspirations. It's gonna get hairy towards the end of the season if the Dolphins are fighting for one of these wild cards. We want them to lock up this division, and I hope you guys are right. I hope they do.
And you got to hope that the AFC North kind of takes some of themselves out of contention too.
Yeah, and I mean they kind of did that last year when when it came to Joe Burrow getting hurt, and the Browns they made the playoffs actually, but they're just. That's 4 tough teams, so you hope they kind of just beat each other up a little bit.
Truthfully, it's more important that we win these AFC Titans, Colts, Texans, Browns games than it is winning against the NFC West. It absolutely is. if we could swap the wins there, like, oh, I'll take a loss to the Seahawks so that we beat, the
Colts,
the Texans or the Colts, right? Yeah, like
right.
I'll take it.
Yeah.